So I assume Katie's still sending people over here until we get about 15-ish. Welcome. Okay, Jason, you're on and you are taking notes. Can you let me know you're here? Jason, have you made it over to the breakout room yet?
Yes, I am here. I was here at the very beginning. Unfortunately, all of my actions on the Teams interface are delayed. So when I click the unmute, it took like about 30 seconds to do so. So I apologize for the delay, but I am here. I'm taking.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So hi, everyone. I am Summer Johnson. I am the Neighborhood Greenway Program Manager. And for the last year, I've been managing the Stay Healthy Streets program. I am going to put up on the screen the slides that Katie had asked us to use as like our guiding conversation. Oh, I'm having a big delay also, Jason. But if you have other things that you really want to talk about, please feel free to bring those up. And as soon as I can see the participants list and either people raising hands in video or raising hands in the participant list, I'll try to call on you. Did I get the quiet group? Go ahead, Tom.
I'm hearing two conversations.
Should I pause while that technical thing is fixed?
Vicki, did you say you're hearing two conversations?
Yes, I'm hearing one with Katie and Tina, and then this group.
I do not know. Jason, can you message Katie about that?
Yes, I can. I was just curious, Vicki, are you and another person near you attending this meeting?
Well, Tina lives across the street from me.
Oh, but not necessarily in the same room as you.
I didn't see her in the. No.
Okay, I will check in with Katie and see if
it looks like just Tina and Katie.
Okay.
So I can't deal with them and with this group.
Why don't you try exiting and coming back in? That is the most common solution.
So just going out completely.
Click leave the meeting and then come back in.
Okay, this is my third or fourth time. I'll try.
I'm so sorry. Jason, can you monitor the lobby for her? All right, Tom. While Jason's monitoring the lobby, why don't you tell us your question?
Not a question, just a comment here. Feedback. Is that okay, or do you want questions only now?
No, I'd love feedback.
So really excited about some of the ideas for making kind of a placemaking piece to the streets. The basketball courts sound really cool. More places for people to plant things and green up the streets is also exciting. The thing that I was disappointed, or at least not sure yet, because I don't know how fully thought out it is, the replacement for the barrels. Some of those locations and that one survey that you had us take about how to paint the pavement. I don't see pavement as doing a whole lot of good to slow down traffic or stop cars from entering the streets. I think we need more visual, obvious deterrence, physical things in the way. Yeah, so that having the barrel there is okay, but it only takes up a certain amount of space, and cars can go around it or really get close and knock it over slightly. And having even less than that, those sticks, the posts, as someone mentioned, they get knocked over all the time and aren't often maintained well. They're just really delicate. So I think we need something a little more permanent than that. And I would love to see some more ideas about how we can make more substantial improvements to these greenways so that they actually do deter fast-moving traffic and create a safe place for people to walk and bike and roll. Thank you.
So I'd love to hear more conversation and ideas about that. Right now I'm sort of developing a toolkit on what that could be. So let's step through this idea of a design right now. So the idea is that we would significantly narrow the street down to about half of its current width, leaving just what functions as the vehicle exiting lane right now. And right now, just like most of your streets, narrow in the center, about 11 feet wide, and two vehicles have to sort of wait for each other to pass. And so at a non-arterial intersection, say 74th or something, you would just wait for somebody to exit before you went into the street. We don't want to put something like an ecology block, something really large, right close to the center of the street, because we know we have to allow for fire access. We know that garbage trucks have got to be able to get to your homes and pick up your waste. We know you're going to have a moving truck come every once in a while, or somebody's going to deliver boulders for your rockery. Things are going to happen. And so that's why I've included this zone that's kind of called the large vehicle buffer. And right now what I'm showing in there is a speed bump like you would see in the parking lot of Fred Meyer. They're not the speed hump. Right now you've got speed humps on your street. They're designed for you to go about 10 to 15 miles an hour over. These are the bumps that you would have in a parking garage, and you don't want to drive more than 5 miles an hour over them, or you're getting like a significant bump in your vehicle. That is to kind of take that buffer space of where we expect vehicles to overtrack. And I've been told by my communications people that's too technical of a word, so help me find another one. But where like their rear vehicles, their rear wheels are going to overtrack that area. But we don't want everybody driving there. And that's usually why those posts end up getting knocked down, is because those large vehicles, when they turn, their rear wheels overtrack those areas. And the posts are designed to take about 50 hits. And once they've taken 50 hits, they're usually not coming back. Depends about turning and things. So that's why I've shown the post more inset as like the vertical element in the area we don't expect a vehicle to drive over. And then that where I've just shown a question mark here is where we want to know what you want to put there. You could put a planter in there. You could put an ecology block, a piece of art. If you love your orange barrels, you could keep them. This is what we've shown here with this ecology block. That's what they're doing in Toronto. So it's really an open-ended question about what you think would make a good element on your street. I don't want to put a planter in front of somebody's house who doesn't like to garden, doesn't want to maintain it. Does that help explain it a little bit more, Tom?
Yeah, I apologize. I probably missed something in the presentation. I was under the impression that the sign would be there, just the post, the orange taken away, and the red would be filled with the sign. But it sounds like if there could be a planter in that location, that would be perfect, because that is a simple thing that's a little bit taller than normal, has color, foliage, obviously, street, people don't drive into it. And I wouldn't worry about it being in front of someone's house who doesn't like to plant or garden, because, who maintains the traffic islands? No one lives in front of a traffic island, so it belongs to everyone. Someone in the neighborhood is going to step up and beautify it. I'm sure of that.
So I think planters are great. They've worked out really well in some neighborhoods where we've used them in diverters. So it's definitely an option to put in there. Barbara, I see you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I live on one of the corners, and I would nix the idea of putting a planter in. I mean, one of my neighbors does take care of the little roundabout, but without any access to water, it's really hard to maintain a planter. And she already maintains the circle, and I don't know who else. I mean, I help her occasionally, but nobody else steps forward to take care of it. So I think planters, they look beautiful when you first plant them, but you really need to have somebody who will be dedicated to taking care of it. And then once that person moves, then what happens to it?
The planters we use are called self-watering. So you put them in there and the water lasts a couple months. So that's good, but it's not without maintenance.
Yeah.
You need somebody who's willing to fill it up.
Will the city provide the plants for it?
We can provide the plants for it. Some people prefer their own over what we pick. But we're happy to fill them up. Have you guys seen the planters that are on 2nd Avenue downtown, along that bike lane? Those are ones that the city's planted. And it would be those same planters. Any other comment, Barbara?
I'm also, I don't think the basketball court or having hopscotch courts put in the streets is such a good idea. There are a lot of people who bicycle on First between 73rd and 85th. And I think you're just looking for an accident to happen with kids running back and forth across the street is adding a whole new dimension to the traffic pattern. And there is still the great thing about these streets is there's not the through traffic anymore, but there still is a lot of car traffic and delivery vehicles. And I just worry when I see the delivery vehicles, turning the corner quickly and driving up First. And I think if there's like permanent things where kids are playing in the street, that's a really dangerous situation.
One option would be to put those sort of in this painted curb bulb area, but it's very open, and maybe those aren't the right solution here on First, or maybe a different section farther north might be a better fit.
I mean, there is a basketball court at the Greenwood Elementary School where a lot of kids play already.
And that's something that's different about your neighborhood than other neighborhoods. So maybe there's not as much demand for it. Doug.
Yes, hi, thank you. I just wanted to agree with Tom on the someone in the community immediately around there will adopt these corner planters. Something needs to be put there besides question marks or even colorful paint. Cars will park there. And I don't know, I live on the other side, the east side of the hill, but I use this street a lot. And I would say that there's very little parking enforcement in the neighborhood currently. So I think something physical like a planter would be beneficial. Similar to that chicane image that you had on a separate slide.
Like this
Yeah.
one?
Yes.
Yeah, I love those. Let's have more of those. Chicanes are awesome.
Thank you, Doug, for your comment. Paul.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Summer, I was wondering, are there going to be specific design standards that will support Greenwood Elementary and St. John's? I'm part of the St. John administrative team, and we're really concerned about how our impact on the neighborhood has changed with the introduction of the Safe Street. We've basically lost one of our primary exit points for parent drivers. So I'm wondering if we're going to be able to have some real specific dialogue with the city and with our immediate neighbors about how we can come up with something that works for all parties.
Thanks, Paul. I'm glad you're here tonight, and I think that's the reason that we decided to stop the phase 1 south of or at 79th Street and not continue north, because we know that those are the places that are going to take a lot of attention, and making sure that we've got the right design in place. I can say that since school has been back in session for public schools, SDOT has rolled out a school streets program to basically install these in front of schools, because they have been so popular and working so well. So people all over the city are requesting these one block school streets in front of their schools to help allow for better walking and biking access to their school, and just more space that they need right now. So I think I'm looking forward to working together. The one thing that we're planning in front of the school right now is to put in one of these islands. So if you are traveling westbound on 79th, you know how 79th is wider west between 1st and Greenwood. 79th is wider. And so the stop sign is farther away on that side, because you've got like a wider parking area. So the plan is to install one of these little curb bulbs right there at the corner of 1st and 79th, because we heard about so many people ignoring that stop sign. Maybe they can't see it. So we're going to try and bring that stop sign in and make it more visible. And we'd like to talk to you and the people at St. John's about how we can design this. You know, maybe you want asphalt filled, maybe you want planter, and make that intersection safety improvement with the first phase. But then we're not planning anything between 79th and 80th until the next phase, because we want to spend more time working with you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah. Patrick. Oh, you're still muted, Patrick.
How's that? Can you hear me?
Much better.
Awesome. Somebody had to do it. Kind of following up about St. John. I'm a parent there, and very familiar with the pickup and drop off flow down 79th westbound. And, you know, I was kind of wondering what the options are to have any kind of vehicle access between 79th and 80th, you know, a shared access with pedestrians and cyclists. And I live in Ballard, but I've actually used that Safe Street quite a bit. So I really have enjoyed walking and biking there, especially throughout the pandemic. One kind of element that, you know, might be overlooked is there's a large construction project on 79th and Greenwood. And I've been kind of following it, and I've been in touch with the architect and the owner a little bit. And it's kind of up in the air, but it looks like summer, end of summer, fall, that project would start. And that includes occasional parking restrictions on 79th frontage, and then road closures for deliveries and right-of-way improvements. So as a parent, when I kind of monitor all this, I'm just kind of throwing it out there that it's something to consider, because in my mind, if 79th is closed and I'm going to and from the school to pick up or deliver my kid, I mean, I really don't know how it would all work. So, and I realize the construction isn't within your purvey necessarily, but it is something to consider. And I'm really hoping for some flow on first between 79th and 80th.
I think I'm really open to you guys sketching up whatever ideas you have and talking about it more. You guys are obviously they're every day, and so that's a lot more frequent than I am. So let me know what ideas you have, and I really want to figure that out between, I feel like, from 79th to 87th, we've got a lot going on to really get in the weeds of. So I'd love to sit down with different groups that are interested in particular blocks and see what ideas you guys have and sketch it out. And I think once you guys see what we're sort of using as our template design from 73rd to 79th, it might give you an idea of what the possibilities are, or spark your creativity about what to take on. Jason, I see it's been about 20 minutes. Is it time for us to head back to the main reading room?
I have not received, let me double check to see if I have a notification.
All right, let me take Paul's question, and you could text Katie maybe?
I will do that.
Thank you. All right. Paul.
I'm not sure I put another question up there.
Oh, okay. It just showed me that you still had your hand raised.
Oh,
Doug.
sorry about that.
No problem. Do you have another question, Doug?
It's more of just a point and a recognition. I realized when I was describing my experience out here, I am one of the people who is not immediately affected by having this right in my front yard. And on the intro call to this, there were a few people, I didn't get their names, who are very intimately affected by this. And there's a non-intimacy with this whole Zoom process that doesn't often help designers connect with the community as successfully as in person. I'm wondering, I know if you want to build a new building or a house in Seattle, you often, depending on the type, you have to send letters to the adjacent property owners. I'm wondering, is there some way that you can reach out individually to all of these property owners where you are bringing people? I was not aware that their front yards were being walked across, but I certainly could see that happening. And then also, I know you're in the very early idea generating stage here, but some of these kind of feel like one size fits all solutions. And of course, everyone's got their own unique conditions at their intersection on here.
Those are both really great points, Doug. I think the second one's a little easier to address, so I'll take it first. Just like we have a standard plan manual for how to design any roadway in Seattle, if you've got an arterial street, we say this is how wide your lanes are supposed to be. And then we go out and we look at the actual street and we design it. And we've got a standard for what a neighborhood greenway is, or what a protected bike lane is, what a sidewalk looks like. And then when we get to the actual street, we have to design it. And so that's part of what this program, being so new, is trying to do both of those things at the same time, to come up with sort of a standard idea that we can take to every neighborhood, and at the same time have a really detailed conversation with the people who live there and talk about, would you want a planter in front of your house, kind of details. So it is an interesting place to be in, but we're learning, and we're trying to work really at both of those scales at the same time. And as far as notification, we have run some targeted public meetings with the people who live in certain areas, like the mailbox consolidation area. We have had some trouble with our mailers actually getting to people, and so Katie has been going out and doing door hangers to make sure that every single person is getting the ability to correspond with us, and she's collecting she just went out and put out door hangers that had a tear off postcard that you could send back to her with your information on whether or not you wanted to participate in the mailbox consolidation option. So we're trying to do that sort of both levels of outreach as well. And we've been out to meet with the neighbors who live at the corner of 73rd. And we're going to continue to do that. It's a really high level design concept right now, literally a couple of us sketching with pen on paper. But we want to make sure that we're paying attention to the details, like maintaining the ADA parking space and making sure people have the ability to turn in and out of their driveways and all of that. So we're trying to manage both of those things. And I just got a notice we're getting moved back to the main room. I'll see you all over there.